Good morning. It's the Wall Street Weekly Wrap-Up, June 29th, 2024, the end of the second quarter, and what a quarter we had. Wow. Let's get into it because we have some good stuff and some crazy stuff this week in the news of stocks. I always start out with our first two portfolio things. Novo Nordisk, they're going to get into China, which is 1.4 billion people. I don't know, what the obesity rate in China is. I hear different things. When I've had the Chinese over here, I don't see that. I know we were higher than they are. So, but a lot of people said that it's bad over there. But either way, you're talking a market of at least 100 million, 200 million maybe. They're going to build a facility here, $4.1 billion investment here. It's not going to be up for a couple of years. It's going to probably take 3 to 4 years to get this thing in production, but it just shows you the demand and the profits, and the stock is just a solid one. I mean, if you had to pick a perfect 200-day moving average, this is it. The nice, even, gentle slope. That's what you want to see. It goes on for years sometimes on stocks, and that's what we like. NVDA, well, it's the NVDA week every week, right? They did the annual meeting, investor meeting, and the Blackwell architecture, which is coming after the Grace Hopper. It's sold out. Everybody wants it. It's going to be the most successful product in NVIDIA's history, and even for the computer history, according to Jensen Huang. Every cloud provider will adopt it if they can get the chips. Again, it's been up, but look at us saying, it's a nice slope. It's not bad. It's way, way above the 50-day moving average. We know historically it'll hit it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So we have to be conscious. If you're going to buy NVIDIA, it's too high now. You got to wait till it comes down to this average. Otherwise, you're just chasing higher money. It might get back up there, but, it's going to go down in July. Typically, the August earnings is when it starts to go up. Remember, it kind of comes down in the last month before the earnings. S&P, record high. NASDAQ, record high for the week. I mean, our SPY chart, boy, look at this thing. It's just nice, steady up. It's a good, broad recovery. A lot of people are seeing, well, I'm not seeing so good in the small caps, but remember, that's the Russell. That's at 1%. You've been watching everybody else move it. Our goal is to beat the S&P 500, which we are doing easily. And again, you'll see when we do the heat map at the end what stocks we have and what the performance for the second half is. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. If you would have bought in January 1st, like we told you, you'd have been up quite a bit. The indicators. Oh, well, we didn't put the chart up. But let's just take a look at it. We don't need the chart. Crude oil, $80, still hanging above there. Natural gas, I think it'll go down below, but, we're shipping a lot everywhere. Gold still in the 2,300. Silver broke a little bit below 30. Copper still strong above 4. So we got good indicators. Copper is, anytime it's over 4 is a good indication. FedEx, well, what can you say? The revenues went up 0.8, which is not my exciting thing. I like to see good revenues, but they beat the revenues. They guide in line, revenues in line, but everybody loved it. Look at this thing jump. It is like, man, you thought this thing was a NVIDIA or something. I don't know. I mean, it's slow growth. They're losing the post office contract. So how much is that going to cost? Probably $550 million, somebody said. So I wouldn't buy this stock. I mean, I think it got a lot of negatives and slow growth. Bitcoin, we added it to it. I mean, yeah, it's at 60,000, but look at the support around here. It's got support at 50,000, which we hope we don't get to. But like I said, it's consolidation. All this stuff with the BTFs. People are buying the Bitcoin ETFs. A lot of people are buying it. They just want some exposure. I always tell people, 3, 4, 5% of it as a total exposure. Don't go crazy. Don't bet it all on Bitcoin. Just put a little bit in it. So we sold the miners because the Bitcoin is cheaper. I mean, it's you think about it, it's down about almost 20% from the high. So to me, that's a deal. Walgreens, I tell you, I remember we had this stock, 10 years ago. It was good. It was opening stores. And then people started stealing everything from hair extensions to medicines to everything in the store, and nobody was stopping them. I mean, you get City of Chicago, well, if you steal $750, we'll prosecute you. $300, no problem. I mean, people go out there every day, steal stuff at Walgreens, and It's crazy. I mean, they gotta do security. And it's like Kramer said. I'm not waiting for somebody to open up the locks to get my razor blades. I just order on Amazon. I ordered on Walgreens. It's good service. It's not any different. They really have to start pushing the stuff that Amazon sells that they compete with, and say Walgreens has it too. They have to make the pharmacy business, because you got to go to a doctor for get a prescription, which then has to go to a pharmacy. You can't just order online and get prescription medicines, and nobody's going to see you. Not yet, at least. Revenues. This is really not bad. I was expecting, the way I was looking at this chart, you think this thing was tanking down. He's going to cut, I think, 2,000 stores out of the 10,000. I don't know how many stores they got. It's going to, everything that's non-profitable, he's cutting. Going to start from the thing, and, essentially all the areas that get the stuffed, they're going to be gone. They're going to throw those stores away, and guess what? You're going to have to buy online at those stores because they're tired of the stealing, and that's what you're going to have. Lockheed, I just, it's a stock, you can see this wedge coming up. It is a big wedge. When they break it, it's like when it gets up here, everybody sells it, have some stock. When it breaks and the sellers are done, this thing could go up 10, 20, 30%. That's what the power of this wedge is. I mean, it's if it breaks up, now of course if it breaks down, like Tesla, then not so good. But I just said, look at this thing. This week alone, 500 million, 5.2 billion. The companies don't even make 5.2 billion. 1.5 billion. We're talking $8 billion almost. Damn, or $7 billion. That's a lot of money just for 1 week for one stock. So they're doing well. They're doing well. And they're not crashing planes, so that's what's better, RIVN, I mean, I was looking at it, but, if the revenues are good, slow growth, but look at this chart. It's been like dismal. I mean, look, down, 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 down. And, of course, Volkswagen said we're going to take a 40% stake in it. That's how it starts. Take 40%. The next thing you know, we're at 51%. And you control everything. Boy, look at it jump. I mean, geez, if you would have bought over here around it below 10, you made 50% of your money. I mean, that's not bad. Right here, it was about 10. You made 50%. But, the issue is, one thing they do is they make the Amazon trucks. And you know what? That's where the people are going to buy. They got the trucks, they got the chargers, they got everything. They don't have to blow money on gas. Just charge it up and the grid's good. Pretty good. Now, we added, we'll talk about our sector. I've dealt with 11 sectors forever. 40 years of this stuff, 11 sectors. I'm tired of the 11 sectors. I don't think it reflects today. So I changed it. I made 12 sectors. And we're going to go into the new one, which is the transports, which Dow transports are a key component of the Dow theory. Yet it really didn't have its own sector. Consumer discretionary, no. You're transporting stuff, you go through it. If the economy's good, it's going to be good. Little inflation, you still got to go in there as long as those stuff is being bought. People have to transport it, whether it be planes, trains, or automobiles. So we added Ryder. They rent trucks. They have warehouses, and this is a good chart. This is what I like. I mean, I want to get a company that's profitable, company that makes money, has a dividend, and has an upward chart. Plenty of transports looks the other way. You can just sit there and look like the RIVN chart for a while. Matrix, leading carrier of shipping in the Pacific. That means, we know China's picking up. So guess who's going to benefit? They are. We added a second transport. That's what I mean by second. This is a second stock in the transport sector because we want to be diversified. We're going to get a broad rally, and we've seen it, and we want to go in here. So if you would have bought the stock in January, you say, okay, I bought it around about 120 and it's 130. Okay, it's like 8. It's not doing as good as S&P, but I like it. I mean, I like a carrier, and it didn't crash a bridge, and everything's positive, and all you have to do is just get to the ports and get this stuff unloaded and keep on doing it. Okay, so what we're going to do is, and I'm going to move my little picture here. There's a material section. I'm going to focus every week on one of our 12 sectors. It kind of works out 48 weeks. I'll have 12 times or 4 times a year we're going to go through it. And I just, these are the stocks I watch. I don't watch every one of the S&P 500s because I have no interest in them. I mean, we just want to look at it. We want to go through it. So I highlighted in yellow the materials sector. And the reason, this sector, it makes the components for industry. Like Clorox makes chlorine, Nucor makes steel, and Dow makes chemicals, and DuPont makes chemicals, and X makes steel, and FCX gold and copper. So these are what we call the materials sector. Again, being diversified, we will have 2 in each sector. And of course, really only FCX, which is hot for gold, hot for copper, is up there. So I just like Clorox because, it is dominant for chlorine. Chlorine goes up and down for demand, but I think it's, a good stock, and it's well managed. It's just, the products of chlorine is a little bit slower. And, but look at them all. Geez, it's tough. CF Industries, which makes your, fertilizers, that's a good stock, very well run, but fertilizer demand is lower, and I think that's a stock we're going to watch. If it gets so low, we're going to buy it. Well, let's take a look at the heat map for the year to date. Now, we bought this year, we bought Bitcoin, we bought at 61,000 in Rider and Matrix. And we sold Sire because it hit a stop, We didn't have much invested. We just kind of had not, when we buy a stock, it can ease in 1/3, 1/5, 1/10. And if it keeps on going up, we add to it. We don't add to it when it keeps on going down, because it's like, well, obviously we guessed wrong, and let's just see how it goes. So it hits a stop. And again, we traded the Bitcoin miners, BT, and Riot for the real Bitcoin. So the heat map year to date, this is the second quarter end. Look at this, NVDA up 149%. Our largest position is the best gainer. This is incredible. Microsoft, another one we've had for years, 18%. Google up 30%. Amazon, 20%. Walmart, 21%. You get the picture? We're killing the S&P. I don't know, it's doubled. JP Morgan, 18%. Then you can see other ones. A little bitty FCX is red, green. Exxon Mobil, Chevron, not Chevron, but Conoco, a little bit slightly green on it. But we're doing. Remember, we're buying the leaders in the best sector, and we're doing well. And that's one of the things that people forget. We want to buy the best in the sector, the ones that have positive quarter-to-quarter aggressive growth. And that's it. There's a lot of good ones. Don't get me wrong. There's not a lot of bad ones, but we want to keep on going in there. And so we are doing well. And if you've stuck with us for the last year and a half that we've been on, you've done great. And like I said, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. It'll probably be a little bit later. I won't get it on Saturday because the holiday week is 4th of July week. And that's my time to relax and do a lot of stuff. I just watch stuff, but not too much. Otherwise, see you later, and have a good week.